What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of You Guessed It. You Can't Make This BS Up. This is your host, Joel Davis. That is right. Sorry for the delay, guys. I've been having technical difficulty. Your boy, again, lost his PC. That's right. Going through some hard times with finances, baby. Everybody's going through it. But you know what? I know God's got me. But if you want to donate to the podcast and keep us going forward and keep us moving in the direction to give you this fire content, y'all know what to do at the end of the show. You can go to the descriptions. It will have all of my links below down there, especially my Cash App with the Cash App tag. You can't make this BS up. That's right. Donate, please. It helps out the channel. And if you can't donate, like I said, anything you want to bestow upon us, whether it's $1 a minimum that you can send through Cash App anyway, or $5,000, it's up to you. If you can't do any of those things, share it. Share it helps too. Share it with everybody. Let everybody know in your circle, hey man, you need to check this podcast out. It's fire. Man, oh man. So I owe y'all some Black Friday content. So from last week, and I'm probably gonna do a double header tonight. I'm probably dropping a bunch of stuff. One of them is going to be Black Friday double header. We can say it that way. The first Black Friday store we're going to talk about is coming all the way from, you guessed it, ATL. Oh yeah, you know when I say ATL, you know it's about to be crazy, right? Yeah, it's about to be crazy. It's about a guy named uh Maurice Arkansas Mo Fane, not Faye, but Fane. That's right. Um, and let me tell you, we've been talking about scammers left and right lately. And this guy here is your scammer. Oh, yeah. My man was involved in what you call during the time of the COVID chronicles of the PPP loans. He one of the ones that had a whole system going on. Now, you may know of Maurice Arkansas Mo Fane off of the reality TV show Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, but the government know him as Maurice Fane with a new inmate number based courtesy of the feds. But we're not gonna get ahead of ourselves. We're gonna break it down and tell you how Mr. Love and Hip Hop went from loving hip hop to now embracing a federal whole fit in the federal bureaus, prisons. Federal Bureau, I meant, of prisons. Oh, yeah. But before we get into the scamming and jamming, we got to rewind and talk about how Maurice came into fruition in the world of Earth. It happened around about March the 23rd, 1983. And before we get to that, listen, guys, I know March 23rd is the start of an Aries, but we in the Aries community is not claiming him because not all of us are scammers. Now, some of us is good with the tongue, got a nice little jargon here and there, make you feel all nice and gooey inside, but not all of us are shady. I had to put that there before we continue. But anyway, there is not too much known about his family history, his siblings, or anything like that. But All we do know is sooner or later he landed in Dacula, Georgia, which is a little bit outside of Atlanta. Then he worked hard and launched a trucking company called Flame Trucking LLC. Well, that's what it said on paper. Now, Flame Trucking wasn't doing any kind of serious freight. They may have a little things here and there, but Maurice uh, was running a, how can I say this, a classic Ponzi scheme. Because, see, for nearly 7 years, Maurice convinced people to invest in his air quotes company. Yeah. Promised insane returns. Said he used their cash to buy the trucks. But instead, he spent it on himself. We talking about millions at the casino, over about $5 million in fact. He even managed to land a role on Love and Hip Hop, y'all, with his high-profile relationship with Carly Rae. Mo looked successful. But behind the scenes, Mo was out here scamming these fools like it wasn't nothing. So let's talk about it. So in April of 2020, that's right, when the COVID was running rampant in the United States of America, Mo filed an application to get a $3.7 million paycheck protection program loan. He said Flame Trucking had 107 employees and a monthly payroll of about $1.49 million. Now, on paper, it sounded good, it looked good. Shit, hell, it felt good. But it was all lies. But the bank approved it anyway because Maurice received $2,045,800. And in true scammer fashion, he wasted no time blowing it. He leased the 2019 Rolls Royce Waste for $136K. Now, when you lease these Rolls Royce, and we said the rate, it's the one with the stars on top of the roof. You know, like you see a lot of rappers be sitting back in the Wraith, getting it in, rapping their ass off, and you see the star. You're like, oh, shoot, son, he balling. But he's not really balling. He's just flexing just a little bit. Okay? Those things are pretty expensive. Now, he dropped $85,000 on jewelry, which is pretty impressive, you know, starting out on your jewelry game. Most of the big ballers do at least 250K plus, but I'm not judging because I don't have that kind of money, including a diamond ring the size of a golf ball, baby. They said the diamond ring was the size of a golf ball. Do you know how heavy that is? That's a heavy ass ring. Paid $40,000 in child support and $50,000 in restitution from the Ponzi scheme case. Well, at least he paid his back child support. He even paid out over $230,000 and what the feds later called kickbacks. Uh-oh. And you can't move like that when the feds are watching. And trust me, they were. So, let's talk about it. So on April the 6th, 2020, federal agents showed up and asked Mo about the loan. You know, they like, yo, man, we got a couple of questions here. We see that, sir, you took out an application for a loan of $3.7 million of paycheck protection program. You said that you had 107 employees and a monthly payroll of 1.49 million. We're not seeing 107 employees, and we're not seeing $1.49 million of freight being moved through this motherfucker. So you need to talk to us and tell us what's going on. You know, he's like, I don't know what you talking about. That's what I got going on, man. I'm legit in this motherfucker. We even during the COVID, baby, we still, pushing a little bit of more freight with the help of y'all, but we was about to lose it because before COVID, we was killing it. So you know how the feds, the boys in the suits do. Oh, okay. All right, okay. Have a great day. 5 days later, they're back with the search warrant. They done took $80,000 in cash out this man's account, Rolls Royce bank accounts, and that big ring. Yeah, the feds like, yo. You won't be needing this right now. We need to assess this. By May 13th, he was indicted on bank fraud, wire fraud, making false statements, and running a Ponzi scheme in this month. Now, Maurice eventually pled guilty on May 11th, 2021, which would be a year later. The Fed were not playing though, because in September 2021, the judge sentenced him to 17 and a half years in federal prison, but 5 years of supervised release. He was ordered to pay back over $4.4 million in restitution. Damn, son. That must be with interest and all. And you know what's crazy that I think is so crazy about when they get them caught like that? They always want to give you a supervised, more probation time for a supervised visit. Motherfucker, supervised release. I hate that. I've already done 17 and a half years. I don't need more of the state on my ass. I'm quite sure I learned my lesson that you guys are everywhere that I don't want you to be at this point of the game. So Mo decided that he would try to appeal it to get his sentence reduced in 2024. He claimed that his lawyer was not effective and the judge wasn't hearing that shit. Now he's sitting in federal prison. He may not be, his projected release date is December 14th, 2032, which is about 7 years away. And, love and hip hop, well, that's gone and over with. Flaming trucking never existed in the way he claimed. The PPP money burned through it in months. And it was one of the most talked about cases in early PP fraud persecution, and it set the tone for how serious the government was about cracking down. Now, here's the thing about these PPP loans that people don't understand back when this was hot and people were doing it. People were doing the PPP loans because it was so easy to do. I mean, all you had to do was get a couple of references, people to say, yeah, I remember so-and-so getting this and getting that. And that was it. That's all you needed. And now it ain't like that at all. It's not like that at all. You really got to prove that you got things going on. Now, those bank accounts they got, let me some more extra input to put in there. There was over $500,000 those in those accounts, okay? And here's what also messed up this guy too. He kept posting on Instagram all his jewelry and all his assets. During the pandemic, and you borrow money from the government is watching you. You know they say Big Brother's always watching? They're always watching you. They always watch you because this is a lot of money. You borrowed $3 million. They want to know where is my money going. They gonna look at everything. And then you went to casinos. I'm for real. You can't go to the casinos with this money. These are people hard earned. This is the taxpayer dollars that's been set aside to help you, businessman. I guess a lot of y'all can't deal with it. Here's what he should have done. First and foremost, I would have never put millions of dollars. That's for one. And number two, let's say he did got away with the first part of it. He should have got modest stuff. You can't just go out here and get rapes and stuff and sports cars and not have people looking at you funny like they don't work. So how are they affording all of this? And you can't say your trust fund babies. Those don't work anymore, man. But yeah, man, that is the story of the PPP loan guy. Oh, Arkansas. It's Maurice Arkansas Mo. That is right. Um, and like I said before, you might can finesse the ground, but you cannot finesse the feds. You just can't do it. They got a 90% conviction rate for a reason. But anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think that Maurice should have got 17 and a half years for scamming the government? Or do you think that, you know what I'm saying, he got what he deserved? Jump in, tell me what you think. I hope to hear from you guys soon. Again, thank you for being a part of this experience of another Black Friday episode. I'm out.